Welcome to the Business After Hours, where the ties loosen, the suit relax, and we talk business without the boardroom. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's dive into the world of business after hours.
All right. Welcome back to the Business After Hours podcast. Here with my co-host Jared and Josh, our guest. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Fantastic.
It is Friday, right?
It is Friday.
And these weeks keep going by so fast. It feels like.
Yeah, it's like
It's like
last one was faster than the other one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So as most people know, I'm temporarily living here in Michigan, and it's currently 73 degrees. So I'm just curious how the heat down there in Texas right now.
95.
It's not bad. Yeah, I was gonna say it was going to be 100 late in the evening, but it's still in the 90s. For most of the day. Yeah, which is really, really surprising for August.
Yeah, 70s is nice. So just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, but you get snow, so you can keep that up there.
Yeah, we've had like 2 snowstorms.
Yes, I'm good.
That's usually just like Texas is usually gone like within a day or two.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Josh, and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So just the broad overview, I've been building business sales systems and sales teams for almost 20 years. And typically, I'm no magician. There's no voodoo. We focus on fundamentals, blocking and tackling, pick up the phone, call the damn leads, ask them for the sale, follow up if they don't tell you yes or no, that kind of thing. And actually, I don't know if you could change that to anabots.ai. That would be a better business for what we're at right now. And what we've done is we launched a company called Anabots. It's an AI company. And we build, taking all my experience that I did with building sales teams, I've taken tens of thousands of sales calls. We turn that into AI-powered sales assistants that automate your sales process on the front end for you, that allows you to close more sales without having to go and generate more leads, or without having to go and pick up the phone if you're a plumber and you're elbow deep in replacing a pipe or something and you got another customer calling. AI can take care of that for you and get it on your calendar, and all you have to do is go to the next job. So that's a little bit about what we're doing right now. That doesn't describe me per se, but that's where I'm coming from the business perspective anyway.
Well, tell us about yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, that way people get to know you.
Yeah, right. I did. I just launched into the, like, hey, here's my business junk or whatever. Yeah, like
right.
You want, but yeah, man. Actually, Texas boy, just like you guys. I'm born and raised in Kentucky. Moved down here 20 years ago. Used to be a teacher and have a music degree, and I was a drummer, and never had aspirations of being like a rock star or anything. I just loved playing music, but I got burned out on teaching and tried to find another path in life, and still looking, man. It's a never ending journey.
So true.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Jared.
No, so I was just going to ask, like with you use AI for the upfront, connecting with clients and that, like, do you ever feel like the message sounds too AI, or have that trouble of sounding too AI?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. The problem with this industry right now, there's really 2 problems with the industry. Number one, the majority of people pushing out information and starting businesses around the idea of AI have actually no experience in business or sales, customer service, or any of that. Which leads to the second problem, which is most of the people who are interacting with any kind of AI have a horrible experience with it, and they got a bad taste in their mouth.
Right.
Yeah.
And it becomes especially clear when you start an AI company that is building these things, and then you go to somebody's website and you're like, oh, hey, they got a little chat bot. Cool. And then you click on it and it was like, it's busted like 90% of the time. Like, why do you guys even have that there? And so what we really set out to do is just to disrupt the industry by creating near human experiences that are as natural as possible. Just have a conversation, get your questions answered, book the call. We can even have AI do the call with you if you want. And that's not 100% human, but it's pretty dang close, and those are the things those tiny little details, the nuance of how you respond to somebody, how you have a conversation with them, that's what's going to make people either embrace a conversation with a machine or be repelled by it.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you see AI kind of being more of a salesperson in the future instead of hiring actual salespeople? Just develop AI for the sales of that business.
I think I was just reading an article. It's a guy named Ray Kurzweil. You may or may not know who that is, but he's written a bunch of books. He's a futurist, and he is talking about within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to reach what he calls the singularity. All right. And that sounds really ominous, right? And so the singularity is basically a term that describes when humans and machines merge, when they become one. And it's like, that's scary stuff, but
Right.
we've seen enough futuristic movies to see what, to have a vision in our head with what that might be. So will AI replace a salesperson? No, I don't think so.
Okay.
What I think will happen though is I think AI and machine learning is going to wipe out everything that doesn't need discretion, empathy, critical thought, all these things that humans are still, and probably for the foreseeable future, are superior to machines. A machine cannot demonstrate empathy or discretion or kind of take the whole picture. It can't do that. It can only run a program that can mimic it.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And so that's
Makes
where
sense.
there's a lot of psychology and nuance and understanding and give and take that happens in a sales conversation that you can train a machine to do. But by the time you go through the effort and expense of training that machine, the humans already made several sales. And so
Sure.
I feel like there's a line where, yeah, AI can make sales for you if it's transactional. But if it's consultative or it's
So like
related,
a Taco Bell, McDonald's, where it's just really transactional, but your like car salesman won't go anywhere because
Yeah.
you like real sales for that.
7-layer burrito, we got you.
Cadillac.
Yeah,
we don't got
I think it would be hard for AI to deal with objections properly. You know what I mean? Like we all learn how to deal with objections, and I think AI will probably struggle with that to do it correctly.
At
Yeah.
least for now, right? I mean,
Yeah, for now.
they're
Yeah.
out with robots
right.
and shit. So I imagine that they're gonna have to build some sort of emotion in some of these human-like robots.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know if I mean, I can show you guys a demo of AI voice right now, like
Yeah.
what we're working on, if we have time.
Yeah, go for it.
But the point there, what you really nailed it, is me. I've been on probably 15,000 sales calls, and when I hear a guy say, "Oh yeah, cool, that sounds awesome. Let me think about this, and I'll get back to you," I already know that he's full of crap. I already
Yeah.
know that
Not gonna get
there's
back to you.
something that I said or didn't say that gave him fear or concern or doubt that this isn't the right fit for him.
Sure.
Otherwise, he'd be signing up, And so, can I teach a machine to pick up this little tiny inference in his tone? Maybe, but probably not. Where the thing that we really need to do with AI is make sure we put it in the right place. You wouldn't want a monkey to drive a school bus. You
Yeah.
want a monkey to go and grab a banana for you, right?
Right.
And you could probably teach a monkey to drive a school bus, but you could just get a school bus driver, you know? And so let's keep people in their lanes for what they are good at. And what AI is really good at is repetitive tasks and administrative work and giving that presence, if you will. I'll give you one statistic that is pretty brutal. The typical customer who has an online inquiry, they are expecting that you get back to them within 5 minutes. That's the expectation. You go online, you call somebody, you send an email, you send a text message. You're expecting a response within 5 minutes. If you don't get one within like 10 or whatever, you're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
If you can respond as a company within 5 minutes, you're good. If you can respond within 1 minute, you actually 4x your chances of doing business with somebody. If somebody calls you and you answer the phone, you're going to do business with them. If somebody texts you and you text them back inside of 1 minute, you're probably going to do business with them. Now, do you guys know, you want to take a guess, what is the average response time for businesses to online inquiries? Just take a guess.
Probably days.
A couple hours.
47 hours.
Wow.
47 hours.
So at least speaking from experience, or based off my experience with leads and that, some of the systems out there, kind of make you struggle to grab that information. Like Facebook leads, for example. When we were getting Facebook leads, it never notified us. I couldn't really figure out a way to let it know immediately that we received those leads. I would have to constantly go back and check it to make sure that I was following up correctly. You know what I mean? So trying to capture that 5-10 minutes seems hard to do in some processes.
It is, and it's hard to do as a human. But if you're a machine, it's not hard.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the line that you want to draw, right? People don't care if you can navigate through your online systems or not. They just want to talk to you when they want to talk to you, or they want their question answered when they want their question answered.
That's true.
And so if you can't do it, then that's where you automate it.
Right.
And you build the systems around it. And if you can build those systems, then your customer doesn't care. Your customer doesn't care if it's a robot or AI or a machine or you or your VA in the Philippines. It only cares, the customer only cares that they got their question answered or that somebody talked to them. And so if you can't do that, put AI in there and you make money. And then you go and talk to the customer at a time that's convenient for you by getting the AI to book a call for you or answer those questions. Hey, would you like to go ahead and get started? Here's a link, or here's a calendar if you want to get on the schedule to talk to somebody. I'm sorry somebody's not available now, but let me go ahead and get you booked. I'm paying attention. Typical response time for AI is 9 seconds.
So when they know it's AI, does that still impact the statistics of doing business with you? Like if they know?
Yeah, interesting question. And we did the research on this as well. There was a study done, and about 70% of the people who were surveyed said they had no preference on whether they were talking to a human or a chatbot or anything else, as long as they were getting their questions answered and they were getting the service that they needed. They really didn't care.
So then I guess the question would then beg, if almost everybody in the industry, whatever industry you're setting this up for sales, ends up going AI because it's smarter and they all respond within 9 seconds, where's the advantage now?
There's a lot of people that know how to sell. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of established science on customer service and how to take care of a customer and how to sell them and how to treat them with respect and how to provide outstanding 5-star service and a high quality product. That's done. It's settled science, but there's still millions of businesses out there that don't do it.
Sure. So really it's, if if like all the businesses set it up, then it would eliminate that statistic of if you don't respond within minutes, then you're going to be more than likely not, because eventually everybody's going to probably end up building a lot of programs around that so that they do get the automatic response, and then it would be relying on customer service, right?
Well, um, I would say, I mean, that's probably far away.
Sure.
There are still hundreds of thousands of businesses out there right now that have never had a website, that don't use email. And
Right.
there are some businesses that literally don't have a phone. They just walk around. There's guys that walk around with their ice cream carts and they sell ice cream out of the thing. They have no online presence.
Sure.
So there's always going to be this adoption curve, and it's long and painful and slow.
Yeah, it is.
And really, and you're bringing up a great point, because we think like, all right, well, eventually we're all going that way. That's because we're paying attention and we're surrounding ourselves with people that are in motion. But there are the overwhelming majority of businesses out there that are kind of in this wait and see holding pattern. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Especially this year.
I better wait and see.
Kind of like when social media first started. A lot of businesses didn't jump on board for a very long time until they saw an opportunity to be able to create more business with it.
Probably since COVID, really, when everything started focusing online.
Well, even before then, like in early 2000s, when the internet just got started, not every business was on Facebook. And
no, what I mean is I think it just really started really taking traction since COVID, since everything got pushed.
Oh yeah,
what I mean is like I think even before COVID, there still wasn't a whole lot of movement on the social media marketing compared to after. Can you talk about like the difference of between automation and AI, and what makes them different?
Yeah, great question. So first, I want to separate what AI really means and what we all think it means. And this is my opinion, right? So I can't back this up. This is a strongly held belief. The term artificial intelligence has been around for almost 70 years. They started using it originally in the 1950s. And so what actually is AI? That's kind of a moving target. And it's always evolving. So what AI is going to become, and what it needs to become in order to be useful to everyone, is augmented intelligence. So if almost everybody who's listening to this podcast has probably heard of ChatGPT, and maybe you've even tried it. You go on to ChatGPT and you say, write me an article about whatever business you're in. And it's going to write you an article using artificial intelligence. It's going to go and grab a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and it's going to take all of that information that's available, stick it into a blender, pour it into your cup and say, here you go. And then you're going to look at it and you're like, oh, this is like steak, chocolate ice cream, and broccoli. That's nasty. Why would you do this, machine? And he was like, I don't know. I'm a machine. You just told me to do something. I did it. Right? That's artificial intelligence. You're going to get a result, but better inputs equal better outputs.
Sure.
And so the way to turn it to your favor is augmented intelligence, which says, I want you to write a 250-word article about my business, but I want you to do it in this tone that matches my tone, this style that matches my style. And I want you to do it about this topic. And here are my perspectives about this topic. And I want you to write it in the style of a journalist for the Wall Street Journal. Now we have augmented ourselves by plugging all this information into the machine. and it's going to produce a far superior result because we put better inputs, we get better outputs. And so that I do remember your question, but that's the one separation I want to make is if we look at AI as augmented intelligence, then we understand the human has to create the input that's going to produce the quality output. Otherwise, you're going to get steak ice cream smoothies and they're going to be nasty, right? That's
Or
the
maybe AI knows something we don't, and maybe it's really delicious.
Hey, I mean, I remember, yeah, it could. I mean, that's on you, Jeff. Like,
Oh, I thought you were going to try it for us.
let me know how
I
that
thought,
comes out.
isn't there like bacon flavored ice cream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
There's all sorts of bacon flavor this, steak flavor that. It's crazy these days. It's
Never
AI
know,
can do all
man.
that stuff.
Actually, they have breast milk ice cream. I don't know if you guys have
what the
seen
fuck? Sorry.
That's a
That's
thing.
some creepy ass, Ugh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Where do you, as somebody that's dealing with AI and building AI for companies and whatnot, where do you see AI taking us? Like, what do you see, like jobs being replaced by AI? What do you see our future with this AI stuff?
So, back to the wait and see approach. Wait and see has always served us because it's a safety mechanism that we all have. I'm going to wait and see what happens. And there's never been a wrong time to do that. But we're approaching the wrong time to do that because the machines are only learning and developing and evolving faster and faster and faster and faster. Human beings, on the other hand, are reaching the limits of our human potential, and we're only going to make incremental improvements. You just look at the Olympics. 100 years ago, the guy that won the 100-meter sprint probably took him like 20 seconds to run it or something. And the one that just finished, 5 guys were within the nose hair of each other. Under 10 seconds, all of them. We're reaching the limits physically of what we can do.
But we did add breakdancing to the Olympics.
Oh yes, that was amazing.
That's right. So yeah, we're always learning new things to explore. But the point is, we're going to reach the limit of what we can do mentally and physically at some point. It's just not going to go much faster. But the machines are only going faster and faster and faster, and so it creates fear and confusion and concern.
Sure.
And so, is AI going to replace my job? Well, more likely, AI may not replace your job, but somebody who uses AI is going to replace you. And that's the thing. Wait and see. At this point, you can no longer afford to wait and see. You have to get in here now and start figuring this out. Even if you're not technical, you don't have to be a tech genius to use and leverage AI. In fact, I built an entire company around the topic of AI, and I'm not a tech genius. I'm not a super tech guy, but it's all about those fundamentals. Do you understand how humans behave? And do you understand how to use machines to augment human behavior and human production? So where do I see it going? I see people who harness AI now, even if they're not tech savvy, you don't have to be, are going to be the future of work. And people who stay away from it and they wait and see, they're going to get replaced and they're going to get angry. And then there's going to be a lot of civil unrest over time. But it's not going to be like one day, AI wipes out 200,000 jobs. It's incremental over time. And we're going to turn around and look around one day and realize that half the population's unemployed because they're not willing to get up and get with the times.
But I feel like, based on what you've been describing, it almost feels like we've been through this wave of even machines replacing a lot of people. That it obviously wasn't all at once, but you go into a factory like a Ford assembly plant, and most everything. So it seems like you're saying that it could like more or less enhance your job instead of replace your job.
That's right.
So they didn't replace the tired people at the assembly line at a Ford or Chevy plant, but they created a robot to make their job easier to put the tires on quicker.
Well, I think the other thing is obviously human error comes into play a lot too, right? So being able to use AI to reduce that human error also
Right.
helps. Um, what is your feelings on? I've heard people talk about the government taking over AI or running the AI, sector. What's your thoughts on that?
Not getting political, just in
No,
general.
no, no. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want to make
You
sure,
know,
like, it doesn't matter what
yeah,
party or whatever. I don't care. Like, just
Yeah,
in
yeah,
general.
yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's interesting, and that's right now. There's hardly any regulations at all about artificial intelligence. It's just almost
How
none.
would you regulate something like this? Because if it learns something that's not regular or that is regulated, but what are you going to arrest the AI? Like,
probably just
I
restrict what
mean,
you
how,
can
how
you
is
Yeah.
this
can
something that
ask.
you can even regulate? Is my question, really?
It's a very complicated issue, and the things that we're seeing right now that are creeping in, the artists who have been whose work have been kind of grabbed and uh, inspiration to create AI images. I just saw today that they won some court case against the AI, against the creators of whatever AI platform. I didn't actually see the article; I just saw the headline. But so there are these little things like that that stand out where you at some point you could go to ChatGPT and say, make me a version of the Mona Lisa, but with a beard, and it would do that. And now it's like, no, we can't do that because we can't use other people's work and that sort of thing. So that's happening.
Okay.
The other thing that's happening is the FCC has passed a law and made it abundantly clear that you cannot cold call with any sort of robocalls. Robocalls have been mostly illegal for a while, but they went in and clarified AI calls are robocalls. You
Okay.
can't do it.
Well,
And
those
so
make sense.
there's
You
these
know,
little steps here and there that are kind of closing in on some sort of regulation. But yeah, where do you go? You can't arrest AI. You can arrest the people that use the AI and you can fine them. But at some point, it's going to be so huge and it's going to be so hard to figure out where to point the finger. Governance of AI and ethics of AI is something we've never
Sure.
explored before.
For
We've
sure.
never been in a situation where I can't tell if the video of this person talking into the camera was actually that person or not. I don't even know for sure. Like, you guys don't even know if this is really me,
Right.
you
I
know?
think that's a problem with social media and looking at like videos and pictures.
True.
It's become now, is that AI? Is that not AI? Like it questions kind of a lot of that now because of that reason.
Yeah, so your question has no answer and will open a can of worms that will last at least decades minimum
Right.
Yeah.
before somebody's able to kind of start harnessing this down into some sort of manageable debate. Like, it'll never be resolved. But we can probably 10, 20, 30 years from now, we'll be able to say, well, there's people on this side and there's people on this side, and we can't agree. That's the best we could probably hope for, and long after all of us are gone.
Is
Yeah, I think
each
there's
AI?
people. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh no, I was going to say, I think certain people are very anti AI, anyways. Like from the movies, like I, Robot, and stuff like that. They want to see that might happen in the future as well. So they're kind of hesitant in even touching AI because of that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fear about that, right? That's artificial intelligence, and eventually it will become self-aware, and it will realize that we are just damaging the planet, and it'll annihilate us. That's where they all go. Um,
Right.
it's less likely that that's going to happen. What's more likely is it will be misused by humans because we are a threat to the planet and we're only looking out for ourselves. That's more likely than anything else. It's not that the machine's going to kill us. It's
I
just
would
we're going
agree.
to blame the machines for all the things we did to get killed.
Right.
I saw something maybe months or even longer about the military putting it into like planes and that, and they would do mock simulations of how the AI. And it was interesting because they were talking about that they had to add rules to the AI, but the problem with the AI was it was so focused on its objective that it would try to find ways to get around the input, the stuff that we had put in place to avoid that. For example, the way it was talking was like they wanted to create a reconnaissance AI mission, for example, and then but it turned into a kill mission, and then they couldn't get it to stop because that was its mission. And it was a really interesting article on how so I think there is kind of some legit fear because of things like that happening.
Well, and how do you take? I'm gonna see if I can do some like a backflip here and take what you just said and turn that into a business use case of
Yeah,
AI, of military AI on a kill mission. Let me show you how that applies to business.
please.
So a lot of people I talk with are thinking, in order for me to create an AI that represents me and my business, I got to feed it like tons and tons of information and content, and like here's all of my emails I ever wrote, and here's a bunch of recordings of me talking, and here's some pictures of my family, whatever. And what happens is, and then you build this very rigid structure. Like, here's how you'd handle the conversation. Here's what you say first. Here's what you say next. You have to do this. You have to do that. You have to do that. I got a 10-year-old here at the house, and whenever I create that structure, it just
Oh, we know.
yeah,
Yes, for sure.
that doesn't work. And so, well, what works instead? What works instead is guidelines, guardrails. We have found that no, in fact, you don't need to feed a ton of information and give it this very specific, rigid structure. You need to give it a safe place to play in so that it can make logical decisions, right? Your mission is to kill, 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 kill. And then it's like, no, okay, we don't want to kill anymore. But you told me to kill, I'm going to kill.
Mhm.
Right? Same thing with business. If I were creating an AI appointment setter, because I tried this is what you have to do here, and then you got to do this, then you got to do this, and it was just like gibberish. It was just like, oh, there's so much going on, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to
Right.
say whatever. What we did instead was said, your job is to answer this person's questions and book appointments. The first thing you need to do is get their name. Once you get their name, you got to ask them these 5 questions. And after you ask them those 5 questions, book the appointment, get all their contact information, and confirm it. And we're like kind of, there's a little more nuance to it, but we created instructions like that versus first ask for their zip code, next ask for their email, next do this. What we found is it will follow those directions, but it will follow those directions at a sacrifice of the actual quality of the conversation and communication. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question right now. I need to get your zip code.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was like, nah, dude, stop getting the information and answer their question. Like, that's what a human would do. But we have to create that playground where it can go and operate and say, oh, it's okay for me to veer off the mission because my job is to answer their questions and make them feel comfortable. Also, I'm booking an appointment, and so we found that less input but clearer structure has produced superior results in AI, whereas do this, do this, do this, do this produces a far inferior result, and it easily goes off the rails.
It's really
So
good.
there's not like one master AI. Like every AI is essentially customized and different, correct or no?
So AI as a whole is probably undefinable,
Okay.
right? AI is like, the collective souls of humanity. It's hard for me to say there's this one, there's this one, there's this one. But if you're using AI for certain things, for instance, if you're using AI to create content, one of the places that you might be using AI is ChatGPT, and they have their own kind of version. And then there's another one called Claude, and then there's another one called Gemini. And these guys are all using their own machines, their own computers, their own softwares and systems to produce that artificial intelligence that you can access as a person.
Does a company like yourself pick off of them to develop your AI? Is that what happens?
That's right. Okay. Yeah. We use OpenAI, which is the company behind ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. Okay. See, when I hear like ChatGPT and OpenAI, I'm ignorant to a lot of this stuff just because I don't know what I don't know. And to me, that's like the grandfather and then all the little people underneath kind of deal.
Think about it like this. Think about this big, giant supercomputer that does tons of formulas and calculations. OpenAI is a company that has one of those computers. Claude or Anthropic is a company that has one of those computers. Google owns Gemini. They have one of those computers. And then they open up little terminals for people like us to go and use their machines. And one of those terminals is ChatGPT. And we can go in and we can manipulate it, and we can talk to their computer, and it can give us some resources and answer questions for us. And so you can go as an end user and just walk up to it and start typing stuff. We can also, as developers, we can kind of go past that front section and we can plug into the back, and we can get some automatic communication with our software so that it makes it a little bit easier and faster for us to build tools.
Oh, okay. No, that makes perfect sense now. Yeah.
So what made you get into doing AI in general? Like what made you transition to this?
Well, for me, the main motivation was I'm 44 years old, and I'm a pretty smart guy for the most part. But when I see people talking about AI, they're going way over your head. And like in Jeff, you just mentioned, like, hey, all these words getting thrown around. It's confusing, man.
It's very confusing.
Yeah. And I want to come in to break that, because I couldn't. One thing, we went to an AI meetup. Well, that was a weird experience, man. Like, the type of dude that goes to an AI meetup is like bizarre. Like, I don't know if you guys ever were into crypto, but I went to this crypto event back in 2017. Total weirdos at that place, man. Very bizarre people, and so
we love weirdos. If you're listening, I'm just
yeah. I'm not trying to judge.
Jared is a weirdo, so
yeah. I mean, definitely.
And so I go to this thing, and we start this AI company. Oh, we're brand new, and this guy's like, "Oh, what LLM are you using?" And I'm like, the hell's an LLM? Like, I don't know what that means. And then we actually got on stage and we were doing a presentation about AI. And we were presenting on it, and we were looking at the biggest concerns people had about AI, and I didn't have time to research it. And one of the things that was on the screen was AI hallucinations. And I was looking at that, I'm like, I don't know what that is. And I admitted it to the crowd. I'm like, I don't know what AI hallucinations are. I do now, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, all that jargon and things that people say, throw that out the window. Like, right. AI is a tool that can augment the productivity of human beings. As long as you understand that fundamental fact, all of the technical part of it is totally irrelevant. The only thing you want to focus on is, how can I harness this technology to help me accomplish a specific goal? Whatever that goal is, then you just develop a solution that AI can help you with, or maybe not. Maybe it's not even a good fit for you. But you just keep in mind that man, it's just a tool, just like a cell phone's a tool. I don't need to know how the circuit board on my iPhone is wired to use
Right.
it. You know, I don't need to know how our computers are connected via the internet so that we can have this conversation, even though we're in different states. Like, it doesn't matter. I just go on and use it for the purpose I need. AI is the same thing. It's like, let's not try to go and get an advanced Harvard tech degree. Let's just figure out what's the use case that's going to help me as an entrepreneur move a little bit faster and be a little bit more efficient with my time and effort.
It's awesome. What, because you had mentioned that AI might not be for you. Can you think of any scenarios where AI wouldn't be good for somebody?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you asked that. I was on a conversation with somebody that was potentially going to be a referral partner for us, and we had a conversation, and I was asking, because most of what we do is, you know, if you're listening to this right now and you run a business and you're not using AI and you're not tech savvy, like me, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, how is this going to affect my bottom line? Like,
Right.
why would I get into this and take all the time and effort and brain power and money if it's not going to benefit me? If I don't know what the benefit is,
Sure.
benefit needs to be, it, at least at the beginning, it needs to add to your bottom line. It needs to bring dollars in the door. It needs to eliminate dollars going out the door. It needs to do one of those two things in order for it to make any sense at all for you, unless you just want to geek out over it. But if it's not bringing dollars in the door, or it's not preventing dollars from going out the door, don't use it. And the conversation I had with this lady, she had dozens of clients, and they were in this industry that was very like word of mouth, like, oh yeah, you work with Bob, yeah, well, you got to work with me now. And they had these big expensive projects, and it was just very much like the good old boy network, you know, like,
Sure.
you guys probably don't need AI. And so it was a nice conversation, but I'm like, I don't see anything we can do here. But for everybody else, if you're not able to answer all of your calls, or you're busy performing and delivering the jobs that you already sold, and somebody, or if somebody's reaching out to you at 10 o'clock at night and you'd rather be with your family, AI can really help you with that. And one quick example, we actually have a client who runs a kids party center, like expensive kids birthday parties, like $5,000 plus, you know. I know, yeah. Like three dudes with beards looking at each other like, why would anybody spend that?
Right.
But you'll go and sit in a room full of soccer moms, and they're like, oh, that's cheap, you know.
Mhm.
And anyway, so
Wow.
we install the chatbot, and she books a party at 10 o'clock at night while she's tucking her kid in bed. She wakes up the next day, had no idea it even happened. $4,000. That happened. And then just a week later, somebody goes onto her website and engages the chatbot, and in Spanish asks, hey, is there somebody that speaks Spanish? The chatbot answers a question in Spanish, answers all of the questions that she has in Spanish, books another party, $4,000. The owner of the business does not speak Spanish. And so this thing interacted with somebody in a different language, closed the deal, no human involvement whatsoever. So yeah. Okay.
So what makes your I guess chat box different than others? Why would somebody want to use your services?
First and foremost, it works, and most of them don't. Secondly, the conversation that you have with our AI powered assistants is as close to human as possible without actually being with a human. So the best way to really find out is just to give it a shot for yourself. And that's where we actually have an offer we call Give Our Bot a Shot. It's anabots.ai/try. You can go on there. You can actually talk to John Connor, which is our AI chatbot. And yes, you can ask him questions about Terminator 2. He will answer
I
them.
was just about to ask, is that the guy from Terminator?
Yeah. We converted him into a chatbot. So he saved humanity from Skynet, and now he's living on our website as a chatbot.
I love it.
But what really makes it different? Next time you go onto a website and you see a little badge in the bottom right corner, click on it and try to interact with it at all. And you'll see it's like horrible. And so we show up, it works. We have a conversation, and they're really designed to do very specific tasks. For instance, John Connor is designed to answer questions about Anabots and to try to book you a call to talk about Anabots. He's going to terminate that conversation with you. He's he's going to go in there. He's going to try to get you booked to talk about Anabots because that's the only job that he has. Most of the chatbots, your experience is you put in your email address and it says, yeah, we'll get back to you.
Right.
And that's just like, I don't want to give you my contact info. I just want you to answer my question. Can you do that? No, you can't.
I gotcha.
That's a
That makes
good feature. Yeah, I mean, I think like, go ahead.
I definitely see the advantages of AI, especially in sales. I see it also as an advantage in everyday life. For the most part, I also get the fear behind it because it's the fear of the unknown, right? That nobody really knows anything. Well, the common folk don't know much about the AI, so therefore we're obviously a little fearful of it. So but I can see after talking to you, like I can see why AI could be very beneficial to people.
Yeah, and that's the idea, is just plain language conversations around AI. I started a podcast called Basic Business AI, and it's just for guys like you and guys like Jared, guys like me, to just get together and have these conversations around AI from a business perspective. Because almost every other AI podcast is like talking about LLMs and like whatever. Like I still barely know what that is, but I don't need to. It doesn't matter. Like I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about ideas and how to grow businesses, because that's what people care about. That's what my audience, my customers, my clients care about.
Right. Same.
No, I agree.
Jared, you were going to say something earlier. I cut you off.
I completely forgot, so we're good.
Oh boy.
It was epic.
Yeah, my brain goes left field a lot, so it's all right. I need AI desperately.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Josh, it's been a fun conversation. I see your handle there. Is that for X? Is that for Instagram? Is that for everything?
All the above, at JT Literally.
Okay. Is that the best place to contact you? Is all those social medias?
Yeah. So if you want to reach out to me, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can go to Facebook, is the easiest social media for me. But you can also go to anabots.ai and you can talk to John Connor. Or you can email us support@anabots.ai if you have any questions. But John Connor can answer most of your questions. If you want to give our bot a shot, anabots.ai/try. And you can get in there for just $7. We'll build a custom chatbot for your business that's specifically for you, and we'll install it for you. We'll take care of all the technology. We'll make sure that it works. We'll make sure that it's getting sales for you. And if you like it, keep it. If you don't, thanks for buying us most of a Frappuccino.
Do you have that link, Jared?
No, I don't.
Can you?
It wasn't on his page.
Yeah, I must have given. I don't know. I must have given you the wrong link when I signed up. So.
Can you give him the link? Because what I want to do is I want to make it easy and just hyperlink it to people in the descriptions, just so that we make it easy for everybody.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that way. Hopefully, somebody got it. All right, open.
Any last words of wisdom, Josh?
Don't overthink it. Don't worry about somebody talking over your head. 9 times out of 10, when somebody's using big words, it's because they're just trying to hide the fact that they're scared.
Sure.
That's something I learned from thousands and thousands and thousands of phone calls. Ned Know-It-All is the avatar. When he's throwing a bunch of jargon, he's hiding his insecurities about his current situation. So don't let somebody talk you into the ground about AI. Just understand this one thing. It's a tool that is designed to augment your productivity and your efficiency, increase your sales, reduce your costs, free up your valuable time so that you can elevate to higher level tasks like growing, scaling your business, bigger ideas, or just hanging out with your family if you want.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Some
Well,
great
for everybody
information that came out
watching,
of it.
we will absolutely hyperlink all his links in the description down below so that you guys can click on it easy. Hook up with him on social media with JT Literally. And Jared, you got any other parting words?
I know. Obviously, what's your podcast as well? So, you
Yeah.
know,
So I have a podcast called Basic Business AI. You can find that on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, or you can just go to basicbusinessai.com. Real talk, plain language conversations about AI and real applications across business without talking to a bunch of AI gurus or bros.
that's great. Yeah, so definitely go check his podcast out if you're interested in learning more about AI.
Yeah, that'll
AI
be hyperlinked too.
can really help improve your business. Just utilizing it once
I
a month, I
agree.
think. You know,
With that said, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend.
yeah.
Go check out Josh's websites. It'll all be linked down below. Hit him up if you got questions. If you think he'll be a good asset for your business, let him know, and he'll clearly be honest with you. He's turned down business that he doesn't think AI would be good for him. So that's got to be worth something too.
Indeed.
All right,
thank you, Josh, for joining us today. It was really good to have you. Great conversation. So thanks.
absolutely. And y'all have a great weekend.
Bye.
Welcome to the Business After Hours, where the ties loosen, the suit relax, and we talk business without the boardroom. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's dive into the world of business